The Yonder Mountain, a Cherokee Legend. Once in the land of the Cherokee people, there lived a beloved chief called Sky. Chief Sky had led his people through long seasons of peace. He had seen their warriors go through great battles with enemies. But now his step was slow, and he was no longer able to lead his people. One day the chief called 3 young men and said, "One of you will take my place as chief and lead our people, but first I must put you to the test." Chief Sky pointed toward the highest peak. "I want you to go to the mountain top. Bring back to me what you find there." The first young man, called Black Bear, quickly started up the mountain. After the sun reached the middle of the day, Black Bear came to a wide place in the trail to rest. He leaned his head upon a rock and his eyes grew heavy. Just as his eyes were closing, he caught sight of 1,000 lights twinkling in the sun. Black Bear sat up straight and saw shining stones of great beauty. He gathered as many sparkling stones and ran down the mountain back to his village. Black Bear handed the stones to Chief Sky and said, "My chief, look what I have found. Beautiful stones. We can trade them for food and will never go hungry." The chief smiled fondly and said, "You have done well, my son. Let us now wait for the others." The second young man, called Gray Wolf, climbed the mountain and went past the place of the sparkling stones. He climbed higher and higher. The trail became steep and rugged. Finally, he came to an open place where he rested beside the trail. He picked an herb, looking closely at its pointed leaves. "These are the healing plants of our medicine man," he said. "If my people have these herbs, they will no longer be sick and suffer." Gray Wolf gathered the plants and hurried down the mountain. Gray Wolf ran to his chief and spread the plants before him. "Look, my chief, we no longer need to suffer. I have found all kinds of herbs, and we can be healed." The old chief smiled fondly and said, "You have done well, my son. Now let us wait for Soaring Eagle, our last young man." Days went by and Soaring Eagle did not return. After 6 days, the people began to murmur. Something must have happened to Soaring Eagle. Why wait any longer? But Chief Sky said to his people, "We will wait 1 day longer," and so they waited. On the 7th day, as the sun cast its long shadow over the village, the people saw Soaring Eagle coming. He stumbled with bleeding feet. His clothes were ripped and torn. He held nothing in his hands. Soaring Eagle fell at the feet of his chief and spoke softly. "I went to the top of the mountain, my chief. I passed a place where there were sparkling stones, but I remembered you said to go to the top of the mountain. I passed a place where all sorts of herbs grew, but I remembered your words. The path was rough. There were great cliffs and sharp rocks. I have nothing in my hands to show you, but I bring back a story from the top of the mountain. As I stood on Yonder Mountain and looked across the valley and beyond the farthest mountain, I saw a smoke signal. It was a signal calling for help. The signal said, 'We are dying, and then come and help us.'" Soaring Eagle rose to his feet. "Chief Sky," he pleaded, "we need to go to them quickly. They are in trouble." Chief Sky stood straight before his people and spoke. "We need a leader who has climbed to the top of the mountain. We need one who has seen beyond the mountain to other people who are in need." The people watched as Chief Sky carefully began to remove his robe. He turned to face Soaring Eagle. "You, my son, shall wear the chief's robe," the chief declared. Chief Sky placed the robe over the torn clothing of the chosen young man. "You shall be our next chief, Soaring Eagle. You will lead our people and help those in need. You will be our chief and help us climb Yonder Mountain."